Hello everyone, how are you? So in previous video we were able to just create this sign up form, and we used regent to bind this form's state, which is whatever value entered by user uh, to a regent item. For example, if I enter user2 some password pass2 user2 @acme.org and click on register button. So you can see that all the information entered by user is available as a JSON uh, form for us. So next step for us is, like, when user click on register button, we want to store this information into our database. So let's check our DB first. So we already created this me social DB in the previous tutorial. So an aim user table already have the username and password information. So select star from aim user. You can see, like, we have the ID, which is the primary key, then username and password. So new field we need to add is email. So we need email because we want to send notification to a user, or maybe user, if a user forget his password, we want to send him a email with his new password. So let's add an email column to our aim user table. Now email can be pretty long for some users, so we can add a variable character, so it can store small, like a 5 or 6, minimum 8 or 10 character email ID, as long as up to 128 character. 128 character is a very long email ID. Normal people do not use such a email ID, so I think 128 character will be sufficient to store the information about user's email. That's it. Postgres has printed this response back to our console. It means email column has been added, and we can check. Yes. Now each user should have an email ID, but during this user was created only to demo that we can use the username and password to log in. So let's add a default email ID for this user. So we are going to write the update statement, and we are going to tell set email for this user1 @acme.com. We also need a where clause to identify, like, for which user we want to update the email ID. That's it. So user email ID has been updated. We can check. Cool. So we have now an email ID field here. So whenever user go to sign up form, enter his username, which he is expecting to have, and then the password, and we need confirm password field to make sure user remember, like, which password he has used, and he or she did not made any typing mistake there, and then the email ID. So we are going to store the username, password, and email field when user click on this register button. Right, so let's go to the cljs file and we have this register button, and when we click on click, it call this register user method. So let's go to this register user function, and we already have this information in the user information field. So what we really want to do is like send a request to our backend server to store this information in the database table. So let's use this ajax request. That was the request for login.
It's 1:45.
We did not get any error. We have to change the endpoint register. Method will be still post, and now we are going to get this information from user info. User info is a map, so if you want, you can print it in the REPL to check what information. Okay, we have to switch to namespace first so that we can access that variable. Let's see if we, yes, you can see here that we have user info field coming because it belongs to this namespace. So first we have to switch to the namespace, and it is a blank right now. So if I do this, it is blank. So but it is a map. So if you check its type, it says like it is persistent array map. So whenever user fill information in this form, I click on register button, this user info map gets populated, which we already seen by using this user2 and pass2 user2 @acme.com. You can see this. So let's go back to our cljs file, and we have this register endpoint now. So let's see if we can log some network request here. So we already have verify login method which works when the user clicks on this. For example, if I enter user1 and some password and click on submit, so then you will see that our request gets sent to server and server respond with a successful authentication message. Yes, you can see authenticated successfully, and message is like authenticated and sending you to home page. So now we have to do the registration step, and for this we need username, password. So this time we are going to get the simply we are going to send this complete map. Okay, no error so far, so this is good. And response function, we want different function to use so that we can show some specific message to user when he click on register button. For example, right now we do not have any validation username field, but for example his username is too short, or some user with already that username exists, so we definitely want a different function to handle the response received from server. And for that I got this RESP, and right for now let's just do the printing part. We will add some useful message later. Right now our goal is to share, store the information. So let's focus on that first. So we got the register new endpoint, then post, then user info. That is fine, that is fine, that is fine. And we are also telling like when the response is received from the server, it will be in the JSON format. So that is pretty cool. So let's go to server here, and we will register a new endpoint. This endpoint will be handling the request received from browser when user click on register button. So for now we can just use R to see like what we are receiving in the request and just print it to the console. So that is pretty cool. You can see CLJ's logo popped up here. It means there is no, so far there is no issue. And let's see that if I click on register button, it should send the request to server. So whether this is happening or not, let's verify. User 2, alright, so request has been sent to server and we have received an error message. So let's go to CLJ REPL and see if something got logged there. And so we have received the request here because we received the print. So if you want to see it again, let's see if we can. Nil. We are getting nil here, which is not good. We have to check like how to log the request in Ring. Ring is the web framework which is getting used right now to handle the backend services. So let's go to Ring Wiki and okay, we need to go to Composer. The routing framework. Whew. Not this page. There's some cool example here like how to do things. Yeah, so we want to see like how to restructure the request which we are receiving. You see, like when we get or post request to an endpoint, we can extract the parameters from it using this format x, y, foobar, or simply if it is wrapped. But our situation is a little bit different. We already have map inside it, so probably I missed something. We simply send the user info here. Maybe if we go here and it says it has not found the endpoint itself, so this is a problem. Should not be happening. Let's refresh this page. It changes the situation. Again send the request. We are still getting 404 not found, which is not good. So we missed something, and most probably that should be there is our freewheelman.edn file. We have registered the handler here, so it is printing nil right now. Means something is wrong. Let's go to here. It says it is not able to find our endpoint, which is very bad because it is right here right now. Or what if we send the response back as a string format? Right, so file is loaded. Let's refresh the page. Okay, so we were not sending back anything in response, so that might be the issue right now. You can see this works. We received 200. Okay. So if we compare this with our login method, we were generating some string. So if I return simply this, received registration request, so we are receiving the response, right? That is pretty cool. Now what we need to do is get the information. This is map.
It's 2 o'clock.
So if we want to log, okay, this is how we log the request. So strr, that should not give us any error, which is fine. And now let's click on register button again. So let's call this step and handle register. Let's call it req to handle the request, and print request, and then return something like just a string. Okay, and we have to change, like, now we want to call handle register function, which will be handling our registration request. So this is where we will write code to store the username and password. So but before that, we need to extract the username and password field from this R. This should be a map of everything about the request. So let's refresh this page and enter is 2 pass 2 to enter it .com and click on register. So we received okay. Response is nil. False. This is in this. We are getting everything nil here. I don't know why. So let's change one thing. Instead of sending everything, can we just send username from our map? Okay, and here we will username as our, and we will pass this username to our handler function. So far so good. So still now this line should print username. This is what I think, but let's see what happens. Cool. So basically it has printed the whole map, which is weird. It means username is bound to. Alright, so what we did is like user data, let's call it data. What I did here is I made a mistake actually. We have to get every field from this map, but I used @user info, which derived the values from this atom, and then it was associated to it was bound to user field. So right now I change then in this map user data, and now I am sending the complete map. So when we click on register button, the request reaches here, and we have all the user data here, and let's say user data. So this is refresh, and this is all the user data here. So for example, you verify that let me do a submit, and I will show you like all the information is reaching there. And this is a fresh request, and it says okay, and again. So I forget to save the previous file. So oh, the 2 s2 s2 and 2@techmail.com register. Yep, we got all the user data information in the backend. So this becomes pretty easy now. Now we have information on our app server here, and if you want to see the individual value, for example just in email, so we can just call email from this request body, and if I click this register button, we will see only this value. Let's try this. Right, so now we got the username, password, and email field on the back end. So next thing for to do is store this information into the database. So for that we are just going to call next.jdbc insert statement, let's go. I can show you that is pretty nice document written by Sean here, and this is example like how we are going to insert this information. So let's write our query here. And instead of select, we are going to call insert into table name remains the same, and now we have to username column, then password column, and then there's this email column which we have added. Okay, we clean up the dirt here, and you can see that values. So far so good. And in the values we are going to put 3. Username is there. Okay, so now we need to get username, password and email field from our request object. So for this is not the right way. We should use lead binding, but just for demo purpose, I want the username from our request object, password from request object, and email from the request object. Okay, so now when you click on register button, request will reach here and this insert statement will execute, and uh, it will insert the record into the database table. This is what I am thinking right now. So let's capture whatever is written here by simply using and so try to print the insert result here. So far so good, no issue. So let's click on register button. Yep, we receive update count 1. It means that value is stored in the database, and if we go to our shell, we should be able to see a second record here. Select star from m user. Wow, that's pretty cool, right? So we are able to save the information into the database for our registration form. So that looks pretty nice. So that's it. So the process we followed, you can see in this register button, on click we need to register first a listener, which will be invoked when we click on the register button. This function gets invoked. What this function do is like it sends the request to backend endpoint, and in the backend endpoint we just extract the information. We map this backend endpoint to our custom function which will be handling the registration action. So request reaches here, and then we just insert the record into the database, and we are able to verify that it has printed update count 1, which means the record has been inserted into database and we are receiving okay in the response. So far this is good. We should receive the we should send a proper response like registration has been successful, and you can try to log in here, but we can do that in later part. So for now I'm just going to show you that we can use user 2 and his password was pass2, so we should receive authentication sending you to home page. So yes, user 2 was able to, a new user was able to register, and then we were able to log in as well. So far so good. Usually we do not store the password in clear text format. Right now it is as you can see here in the, but to keep things easy, I just using a clear text password. Later we will, in some other tutorial, I will show you like how to store the password in the encrypted format, and also how to send the encrypted password from front end to the back end, so that user password is securely transmitted from browser to our server and user is able to log in securely. Alright, so that's it for now. Thank you.